so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I have no idea why the tip goal is doing what it's doing. Is that a sign of something that happened? I don't think it is. That doesn't seem right. I don't see anything on my end. I'd love it if that was. I'd love it if that was the case. That would be tremendous. You guys can contribute to that. It's still going. It just completely maxed out for some reason. I don't know. There is $10 in there already. Shout out to Jeff Accordion for getting us started off earlier today. Yeah, I don't know what this is all about here. That's correct. That's correct. There it goes. There it goes. It fixed itself somehow. How are you guys doing? Yeah, I got the Jerry curl out here today. I forgot to put my hat on.
Homos.
Thank you, Barnden. 5 gifted subs. Caredwin, Baja Be Thy Blast, Blaine Morgan, Hawaiian Zen, and Lurch. Greetings, fellows. Yeah, I've got the curls down here today in honor of Jeff Accordion with the soul glow. It's still hair's still a little short, and if I don't have the hat on, then unless I put a little something in it to kind of tamp it down, then it goes poof. When I was in college, I grew it out just out long all over, versus having it like longer toward the back. But like I did before, I just grew it just straight out, and it was just this big, shaggy, curly. Just stays about as curly as it is now. Just boof, big old Jufro. Yeah. That 0.6% Ashkenazi is it leaks out in the curly hair. Oh, how you guys doing? It's a lovely Tuesday. I've been up all night. I got myself back onto the appropriate schedule now that the World Cup is over, and used yesterday as a reset day. Took a couple of Benadryl. Made sure I woke up as late as possible so that I wouldn't be, so it wouldn't feel like midnight when I'm starting the show for my body. And got some good sleep. Got a bunch of work done overnight. It was very good. Felt good to get in and be productive. And I've got an interesting show for you guys today. It's like I open up X. Looking for a little something, little inspirations, check in, see what's going on, answer some notifications, that sort of thing, and pop over to the timeline, and I'm like, man, this is pretty cool. I'm seeing people that I haven't seen in a long time unfollow. No, not actually. The majority of the people I'm seeing are actually it's like mutuals, but it's aligned mutuals, and people I haven't seen in forever, and man, it's been nice. It's been great. And then I open up, see a notification come through, something about X money. I'm like, oh, did they finally do their thing? So I open it up, and sure enough, it's an invite to X money. They are offering, I don't know if this is just going to be promotional or what, but they're offering a checking account that pays 6%. And you get your own little debit card. You can have your X handle engraved on it if you want. I was like, I don't care. Why not? Maybe if I do lose it, at least somebody might be able to figure out a way to contact me and tell me that it's there. So it's preloaded with $25. I'm like, hey, sweet. I just got $25 from X for having an X account, essentially. So that was cool. And yeah, finally getting the Elon bucks. It's about time. I've been slaving hard for these Elon bucks. Actually, I don't post nearly enough. I don't know. I post when I have something to say, and then I usually don't. And I don't know. I'm not a very good shit poster. I'm thinking about serious things too much. I'm a very serious man. So is it only for verified users? It must be. I feel like it probably is only for verified users. I don't know. I've been a verified user for forever. Thank you, Emperor Atreides. There, you give me something else to fix on the tip goal here. Um, so that doesn't seem right. I'm gonna say, yeah, that's about right. Um, Things are being wonky this morning. I don't know why. Um, but yeah, I would imagine it's only for verified users. I've been one for longer than I can remember, so um,
Welcome to
I
the
mean, I think it's very much worthwhile. Thank
Homos.
you, Emperor Trades. Um, you you got Gaga, a great honor, gifting a sub to Gaga, the lovely Gaga who's downstairs entertaining my son, and they're making cinnamon rolls, I think, and Amy just made she looked at the frosting that came with it, and she was like, "That looks like it has food dye in it." And she just whipped up her own frosting and gave me a little bite of it as I was headed upstairs. And holy shitballs, it is very, very good. Um, so they're down there, uh, Larry, Moe, and Curlying it up together. um, but anyway, so I'm just like, I'm having a great time on X, and then I'm scrolling, and I keep seeing people who are like, "Oh, the new redesign is so terrible. Everything is ruined. This app just goes downhill every day." I'm like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean that they split out retweets and regular tweets on your profile? So if I go to your profile, I don't just have to scroll through a wall of retweets unless I want to. I can go see what you actually say." And nice, seems to work nice enough. Now, I don't know. I know that they also said they just finished completely rebuilding everything from the ground up for the Android app, and they like re-released the Android app. So maybe this is all the Android Americans who are bitching and whining about the new redesign on the Android side, but us iPhone users are everything is hunky dory. Perhaps that's what it is. I don't know. You used to be able to see what device someone was posting from, but that went away a long time ago. So I don't know if this is just Android users who are angry with the new Android app, Android version of it. But I also did see a statistic, and I don't even remember the context of it now, but it showed that the United States is a majority iPhone region, and the United States and Europe and the entire third world is overwhelmingly Android. Which I can only conclude from this that Android use is third worldist. I don't shoot the messenger. I'm just observing the data. I'm letting the data speak for itself. And it's speaking with a strong voice. And so I'm sitting here watching all of this, and I'm just like, it's like there's a fog that has descended. That is just a brown droid. There you go. Living Dead has spoken. Brown droid panicins. That's what I should have called the show today. Brown droid panicins. There's like this fog that's just descended upon people, and I see it all over the place. In all the little different social circles that I have, there's like the religious one, and then there's like the normie home friends one, and there's like the lib college friends, and there's like the very serious conservative Protestant high school friends, and then there's the sports side and the shitlib sports side and the libertarians, and like samples from all these different people just like dooming the hell out over inane things. Like seriously, how does the like some changes or tweaks on an app that's constantly undergoing changes and tweaks, how does this mess up your day this much? Or are you just normally just like a happy person walking around, petting cats and saying hello to babies and like just a ray of sunshine in your community, but when you log onto the internet, that's where the inside voice comes out? I don't know what's going on, but everything is like, yeah, things suck. There's bad things that are happening or whatever, but this has always been the case. You can't go back. You can't find any decade in American history where you couldn't have selectively sampled a collection of different things and put them together into a worldview that you adopt because you're convinced that the world is ending, that things have never been worse. The end surely is nigh today because because X redesigned the Android app. Like there's so much good shit happening. And then you've got people like the people who got flooded up in northwest of us, the west and kind of northwest side of San Antonio, who just got one region got 27 or 28 inches of rain over the course of I don't remember what it was, 48 hours, 72 hours, some short period of time. They got an insane amount of rain. Astonishing levels of flooding. Now we have a hurricane that is potentially developing and heading toward the Texas coast. Most likely it would only be maybe some kind of high winds and thunderstorms or something up here, but these sorts of things have been known to mess up someone's day in the Houston area. So shout out to the Houston people. So those things, that's a real thing. That's a real thing to actually have to deal with, to grapple with. But the redesign of your favorite app makes you that angry? It's so silly. Yeah, it's just a tropical depression for right now. There's models where it strengthens. That we are entering into. Amy's been keeping me apprised of these things. That as we're entering into this super El Nino. It's supposed to get a lot colder here during the winter. Supposedly, it's supposed to be a lot wetter, a lot more rain. There'll be more flooding. We've been in a drought for a very long time here. So there's real things that are happening in the world, real things to have to grapple with and manage, and I just can't. Why? Why can't you just go on the internet and post things that make you happy? Or talk about things you're excited about, or I don't know, sketch some vision of some future that would be probably impossible to obtain. But what the hell? Just do it just for the fun of it. See if you spark someone else's creativity. It's such a powerful tool for this. Yeah, never happy, always doom. I'm having to start unfollowing people that I like, and I'm not unfollowing them because I disagree with their politics. I'm unfollowing them because every appearance into my life that they make is they're like a big sour rain cloud, and I just don't want to be surrounded by people who are constantly big sour rain clouds. This right here, this is the sort of thing that I want to see in my life. Look at this shit. We don't need Johnny Infantino in there. Here. There's your picture. He went and did it. And then for those who maybe don't, I'm sure you probably obla enough of this, but this every time that there is a championship of any kind in soccer, this is the tradition that all the players get up in this arrangement here. And the guy down in the front in the middle, who's usually the best player, the MVP, or the guy who is the most key to the victory, holds the trophy. They all bend down low and they go, oh, and then they lift it up and they all jump and cheer. And this is like the ultimate coming together of the team. And he just stayed there. He's over here chatting the guys up, and then all right, we got to take the picture. This guy up here does the Trump dances. He's walking off, and he walks right over here. He knows exactly what he's doing. He walks right over here, just plants himself there. Yeah, everyone is going to remember this World Cup because it happened in Trump's America. He belongs there. And this is just ghastly to the normie mind, to the average, ordinary soccer watcher. Well, maybe the average, ordinary one, perhaps not, but the ardent, passionate fan. This here was an egregious faux pas. But it's so fucking funny. I didn't include the video. I didn't play the video for this because it'll get instantly yoinked off of the YouTube channel because I'd be playing something from Fox or from FIFA. So go find the video. Just look at they were all in an uproar about it. Just go get the video and watch it. And, you know, Raymond Harmon says, you mean the third world soccer community? Actually, the third world would find this funny. The South Americans, they think this shit's hilarious. The people who don't find this funny are the insufferable white shitlib Americans. They're the ones who get all up in arms about something like this. It's not the third worlders at all. The South Americans, I saw there was another thing I read that they ranked all of the nations by yellow and red card accumulation throughout the tournament. Number one team, Bolivia. Like the top, I don't know, 8 or 10 teams were literally all Central and South American teams. Basically, all of the Central and South American teams that were there at the World Cup were highest in card accumulation because that is how they play. They are a rough and tumble bunch. Now, Spain here strikes an interesting balance between the South American psychology and the European psychology. But yeah, just even like if Gianni Infantino, the FIFA president, if he had stayed in there for a picture like that, it would have been a scandal that might have cost him his job. So he's like scrambling. It's like he comes sprinting across, scrambling to get off the stage so they can have the picture. And then Trump just stops and he's just standing there and they turn around and they do their whole thing. And he kind of is like, I need to pull him off, but that would be really bad if he got me. You know, he has this image of, you know, Trump yoinking people when he's handshaking them, and he's like, yeah, I'm not going to be pulling Trump off the stage. That's going to be an even bigger scandal. And so he's just kind of like, the funniest human being alive. Always the man for the moment. Here we go. Here was the upfront picture. Look at him! Look at him just standing there. He's so funny. It was my favorite part of the entire game. And I didn't even get to catch it live. Amy was texting me about it. God bless Donald Trump. I'm so glad we have Donald Trump in our lives. You know who else I'm glad for? Anduril. Look at our Patriot tech company, our Patriot defense contractors. Thunder, the new era of attack aviation. TechBug said Anduril should drop this defense stuff and just make anime. Now, I've said before on the show here that I'm not really an anime guy, but between PsyOp Anime and Anduril, That is freaking cool. That is cool on so many levels. I guess so obviously the pilot is a black guy. He's like a light-skinned black guy. So a lot of people will hone in on that. I think a lot of our guys inclined fellows will hone in on that and decide that because of that, it's all bad. It's all proof, confirmation that everything is falling apart, decaying, collapsing. I need you to realize that if seeing that gives you that takeaway, you have a repellent personality. You are a strange person. You are not a person that people want to trust or follow or be led by. If that's your takeaway from the thing, you have a worldview that is as socially impactful as Austro-libertarianism. For many of the same reasons, honestly. Yeah, Niles Pritchard says, normies find impulsively bitching about blacks and browns repulsive outside of obvious forced diversity. Right. What are you seeing here? You're seeing, what with the message being sold here, there's the military side of it, but then the social side of it is a father accomplishing great things and inspiring his son to join him in those exploits. You could probably take a line of commentary related to black fatherhood. But then there's the military aspect of it as well, which is like this is how increasingly how wars are being fought. What does this mean? This means that wars can be conducted with far less bloodshed. Now, if wars can be conducted with far less bloodshed, what do you think is going to happen to the pace of the wars? Because bloodshed is a pretty substantial inhibiting factor on wars. But removing the bloodshed from the equation actually means you're going to have more war. You're going to have more longer, protracted military entanglements. You're going to be in a state of like low-level warfare. But that low-level warfare is going to cost far less in bodies. It has a different cost. In a sense, you're kind of abstracting away the bloodshed. So then you have to measure the cost of the wars in different ways. This should force you to reevaluate the way you look at war. And then the other level to this is if you're a young dude right now and you aren't running your feet bloody to bang down the door of Anduril and figure out some way to get yourself involved. And if not Anduril, a supplier to Anduril. Or one of a bunch of other different firms that are very much alike Anduril that are drafting in Anduril's wake. You might have to get a little uncomfortable. You might have to go on a quest and go endure suffering and hardship and practice discipline. Put yourself in uncomfortable situations. That is your frontier. You might have to delete all social media accounts not have a social media footprint, not participate in the narrative. You might have to have whatever social media presence you have be completely sterile and inoffensive. Maybe that's the price you have to pay. But which battle do you want to fight? Anybody telling you that there is no opportunity for young men today is lying to you. Yes, many of the old pathways are closed. Yes, there are structural inequities. But there are always structural inequities for young men. Every generation of young men has a story to tell about the structural inequities they had to dig themselves out of. This is why it's a meme to have the story of, well, in my day, that's existed for at least every generation in living memory. Civilization is itself fundamentally gynocratic, by definition, because civilization is what men build around women. Civilization is constructed for the sake of women, so that they have a safe place to make babies. A place for you to keep all your stuff. Civilization is built by men for the sake of women. It's built in the shape of women. So there will always be structural inequities that tilt the field against young men. And this is a good thing, because that is what turns young men into adult men. It is necessary that there be obstacles in front of you. The obstacles are there for you to overcome them. Rethuglican. He says, the Manchester United fan channel I usually watch was crying over it. Made me remember that Brits are just annoying shitlibs at heart. So true. So true. Yeah, the normie shitlib, what do you call it? Like the normie shitlib white American is just they're like embarrassed that they're not British. Maybe French. That's like their core animating ethos. The obstacles are there for you to overcome them, to figure out a way around them. Because you know what men are really good at doing? They're really good at figuring out ways around obstacles. They're really good at enduring suffering. They're really good at living a stripped down, consolidated lifestyle, highly mobile. That's not as good for women. For young men especially, it is optimal. It is ideal. Anybody telling you that you need to be, that you're behind the eight ball because you're not like settling down is lying to you. Now is not the time for you to settle down. Now is the time for you to take risks. I'm talking to particularly young men under 25. In many cases, it may extend out to 30 or even 35 these days. There is a lot of failure to launch, but that's failure to launch is in large part because there has been a dearth of people telling you to take a risk. And there's so much commentary about all the dangers out there. But I can't help but one. I remember, I don't know, 20 years ago, maybe, like when I was in college, and it was very fashionable among the ordinary shitlib, kind of like the generic Jon Stewart watching shitlib. It was very fashionable to be like embarrassed about being American. to like talk about how much of a bamboozle the American government was and how it's all driven by a bunch of like wealthy, rich, wealthy, fat cats who are just in it for themselves and don't give a shit about the rest of the country and are just wanting to loot it and plunder it, and the poor working class people are just going to suffer. And so it was fashionable to be anti-American. I spent some time in Canada and I spent some time in Europe in and after high school. And that the people from those perspectives who were anti-American in the same way and for all the same reasons as the Americans that I knew who had this sort of, whether it was like a firmly held belief or just them kind of taking in whatever was in the zeitgeist. This was like all the people who voted for Barack Obama did it because they were embarrassed about the American government. They were embarrassed to have it represent them. They thought it was buffoonish and evil and corrupt and given over to wealthy, self-interested interests. And now I just see that exact same thing gaining steam among the so-called right. And like you realize that you're just like a disgruntled 2007 Democrat who's just held on to the anti-gay and anti-black people thing. Remember, Obama was anti-gay marriage when he was elected. That sentiment is not that far back. So like having those opinions, like being racist or anti-Semitic or misogynist or whatever, like having those opinions and then seeing yourself as like embarrassed by the American government and like you're just too good for it and you're set apart from it and you know, we're just like on the fast track to collapse and total destruction, so you might as well drink all the booze while it's here. Like that mentality is just like the people who voted for Barack Obama. There's nothing that's like civilizational or noble or virtuous or any of those sorts of things about that perspective. And actually, to have that sort of hostility toward your own nation, even the leaders in your own nation, and not just like the leaders, but like the offices that they hold, to have that level of hostility and desire to just tear down the structures of your nation. There's nothing that's right-wing or conservative or Republican or based about any of that. There's nothing Christian about it. The revolutionary spirit is the animating spirit of the Luciferian regime. So to the extent that you're embodying that very thing that you claim to stand against. Not in my America. We're not going to tolerate these sourpusses any longer. We've got Blue Angels flyovers. By the way, apparently there's 17 Blue Angels captains. I think it's captains. It's very interesting. 17. Anyways. Talk about life goals. Look how low that got.
Yeah, I've been coming for 10 years, and I've never seen a pass like that in my life. I literally thought we were going to be taken out by the Blue Angels, but it was amazing. That's exactly how I wanted.
Now, the headlines about this, quoted, said like, beachgoer, quote, "In all my time coming here, I've never seen something like this." End quote. Note what she actually said.
Yeah, I've been coming for 10 years, and I've never seen a pass like that in my life. I literally thought we were going to be taken out by the Blue Angels, but it was amazing.
They cut off the "but it was amazing" when it was literally, there was no punctuation in there. She thought it was amazing.
Exactly how I want to go if it happens.
Yeah,
it was so big we thought it was Fat Albert because it was huge, but it was because it was so close. And all of our tents got knocked down, like all of our legs got bent because the metal on it. It hurt his leg, but you know, it was worth it. It was awesome.
What? It was so big. It looks way bigger up close than it does far away, and it was just crazy. All our tents blew away, and yeah, I'm gonna remember that for probably the rest of my life.
Oh yeah, boy, you will.
It was thrilling. Like, I thought it was gonna be just like you watch a plane fly, but no, it was cool.
Yeah.
The White House posted, "It's okay to love America," with this. I log onto the internet every day and see my White House giving me this sort of thing. And somehow guys are still figuring out a way to blackpill. Bros, it's okay. It's okay. You can just love America. Not love America, but no. You could just love America. You don't need to read a bunch of books and study a bunch of history. And I'm saying this while I'm in the middle of reading a bunch of books and studying a bunch of history. You don't need to do that. You can just love America. And if you start from that perspective, the more you do it, the more you love America, even as she is today. If you don't love her as she is today, you don't love her. It's okay to love America. Pete Hegseth, the flyovers will continue until morale improves.
Keep my motherfucking president name out your mouth. Fuck, niggas. Nigga, we ride with Donald Trump over here, nigga. Don't fuck with my motherfucking president.
Let's go. Come on. Get in. Let's go. Blah.
Now, part of the reason he posted this was because in multiple different instances recently where military pilots have done really low flyovers, or there was the one where I think it was it Blackhawks that went and were hovering outside off Kid Rock's balcony. In each of these cases, those pilots were suspended and investigated. And Pete Hegseth personally said, no, we're not punishing them. Reinstate them. They didn't do anything wrong. It was an Apache. Okay, yeah. Hey. What do they mean by this? The flyovers will continue until morale improves. What do they mean by this? Because I definitely see that the morale sucks. There's a lot of people who are doing everything they possibly can to hang on that morale and just drag it down. Ozzy Steen!
Not loving America's third world behavior. I don't make the rules.
So true, Ozzy Steen. $148.80. What did he mean by this?
Trump's a Jew.
A shekel for a good guy.
Boner alert.
The Guinness Book of fucking retards. What are you, retarded? So I know you're not retarded. But what are you, Down syndrome?
The flyovers will continue until morale improves. This shit had me hyped when I saw it. Why do they want morale to be high? Why is this something that they've intentionally targeted and made a point of? Intentionally flouted established policy. They're trying to build your morale because they know the morale of the nation will dictate the success of the nation. So anybody who is trying to drag down the morale of the nation is trying to bring about the failure of the nation. Notice I'm talking about morale here. I'm not talking about your public opinions. I'm talking about behavior, comportment. Having a fucking sense of yourself. Displaying just a modicum of social intelligence. The flyovers will continue until morale improves. Jeff Accordion says feeling good is lame, actually. There's something to that. Do I want to talk about this right now? No, I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it till later. I've got more stuff to come here. We're going to sort of circle back around to this subject here in just a little bit. Living Death says having high morale is fucking cool. Yeah, it is. And did you realize that morale is something that you can just create? You could just get up one day and decide your morale is going to be high today. And you're going to do whatever you can to ensure that every single person you come into contact with leaves that interaction higher in morale than they did before. You could just do things. The patron saint of you can just do things, right here. He's showing you, just do things. For example, you should go to chudconevent.com and sign up. Now, we need to have a conversation about Daryl. Daryl is a troublesome gnome. He's willing to work for slave wages, and he'll happily do anything you tell him to do. The question is whether you're actually going to get back what you intended. And Daryl delivered to me this link and said it's ready to go. But it was not ready to go. There was one key piece of information missing. Through the end of July, early bird pricing, only $150. What is ChudCon? Well, America only turns 250 once. What better way to seize the moment than finding your tribe IRL? Labor Day weekend, we will be meeting in Northern Virginia for a morale-boosting event. It's part Fraternal Wilderness Weekend, part Low Cortisol Music Festival, and part Nostalgia Maxing LAN Party in your Big Brother's cool room with skull posters. Come with friends or come alone. Either way, you will not stay a stranger for long. Now, this is going to be the first ChudCon. We have, I should say, the Cyberbully has big plans for ChudCon. But he made an impassioned case to us, and we strongly agreed that our boys need more time getting together with the boys and getting rowdy in the woods. Just men only. There'll be women present on the property, but the event is targeted toward men only for Labor Day weekend, as the summer is starting to draw to a close. A weekend with the boys. Feats of strength, yard games, live music, a live podcast with special guest E-Patriots, and Halo 3 and Call of Duty LAN parties. Because we believe that billions must smile. And you can go to like work events, work conferences, industry sorts of conferences, or you might have like your coworkers that you could go hang out with, your neighbors. And then there are events where they're more heady. You're going to go learn something, or maybe it's like a conference on gardening or something. I say that because my mom used to go to gardening conferences when I was growing up, and those are fine. Those are great, and then like specific organized getting together for the purpose of political strategizing. We're not at all against these things, but we're also of the strongly held belief that let me make sure that Jeff's tip comes through here. Jeff!
The ChudCons will continue until morale improves.
So true. So true. The ChudCons will continue until morale improves and beyond. Because we believe that there needs to be a way for the boys to just get together, bring some drinks, light a bonfire, go swimming in the lake, wrestling in the mud. We'll have a mat there for grappling. If you get a ticket through the end of July, you can get it for $150. Otherwise, it's $250. And with that ticket, you will let's see, with the $150 ticket, or $250 after the end of July, that gets you admission to the event. And then we have some add-ons here as well. A camping gear package. If you don't have your camping gear, you don't want to travel with it, then just let us know and we will provide it for an extra $50. There will also be a hot shower package for the unks. You can also add that for $50. And then we will provide food, provided meals, 5 meals. So now, a couple of extra things down here I want to draw your attention to. First of all, if you want to go, but you're one of our low-income patriots, then we want to give you a possible way of getting there. So you can apply here for a sponsored ticket. We don't want money to stand in the way of people going there, but I'll be honest with you guys. We're not expecting to make money off of this. The reason why we're charging for the event is so that we can put the event on. We're just doing things because we have bigger things that we want to do with the events, but they require experience doing the events. So we want to get some experience under our belts, and we already have a bunch of things that we can provide now. So we're and also we want to keep the events fairly intimate. We want to know who's coming. We want to know basically who you are. But we want to keep them intimate because we don't want this to get big and out of control. We want this to be a place for you to go network with people, get to know some guys, have fun being dudes together. Not like somewhere in a shirt and tie listening to talks and then chit-chatting by a table at lunch or something like that. No, we want you to sweat together. We want you to get dirty together. We want you to compete against each other and actually begin developing relationships that we can build a civilization with. And so if you cannot make it, but you want to sponsor someone else to go, there's also a place here where you can sponsor a ticket. And just know that you're not just giving someone else the ability to go, but you're also supporting the cause and ensuring that we can put on the best event as well as plan for the next ones. We have many big things associated with this. Also, for members of the King Pill Discord, we'll say members of the King Pill Discord have gotten early beta access to the new EWBSX platform that we are building. Gotten beta access to help us work out bugs in it. We are biting off a hell of a lot with this. But we needed people in there to help us work through bugs. So members of the King Pill Discord have gotten grandfathered in. They've gotten access to the new platform before we fully launch it. So if that's something you would be interested in, Living Dead says the platform is sick. Living Dead has been one of our most loyal patriots helping us out with it. If that's something you'd be interested in, go to kingpill.com, sign up, and once you get in there, then one of us will add you to the new platform where you can go explore. I'm not going to get into all the details of what we're doing with it now because I once you get me started on that, it's going to be very hard to get me to stop. So, but just so you know, the EWBSX platform it's more than just a radio station. The EWBSX platform is going to be intimately involved with the ChudCon events. So if you want the full experience, go to kingpill.com, sign up over there, join the King Pill Discord. We will add you over to the new EWBSX platform. And go to chudconevent.com, sign up now. Admission is $250 for the weekend, but if you go before the end of July, take advantage of the early bird pricing, only $150. Colin Ross says, "How do I access the platform?" Tag me in the Discord and remind me, and I'll get you added to it later on. Jeff Accordion says, "I want to go, but I'll probably be in Florida that weekend. We'll consider a sponsorship in my stead." Patriot, sir. Yeah, Living Dead says you can talk about lettuce, parasite, diarrhea, and ball beaming in there. If you've been looking for a place to talk about lettuce, parasite, diarrhea, and ball beaming, then boy, do I have a place for you. All right. Shilling complete. Here's a white pill for you from Powerful Mutual Runaway Cyborg. Congrats on just hitting 1,000 followers just recently. Patriot, go follow the man at Runaway Cyborg. He says, "The white pill is that I'm starting to see this disclaimer on a lot of job postings. Toyota does not offer support or sponsorship of job applications for employment-based visas or any other work authorization for this role now or in the future. You must have the right to work in the United States and not require Toyota support or sponsorship for immigration-related employment. For example, H-1B, O-1, E-3, H-1B1, TN, F-1 OPT, F-1 STEM OPT, F-1 CPT, TN, job flexibility benefits, also known as I-140 or adjustment of status portability, etc., now or in the future. You should not apply for this role if you will require Toyota to assist with immigration support or sponsorship now or in the future." Why is this happening? Why is Toyota telling people not to apply for a job with them if they want to be sponsored for immigration-related employment? Polymarket says, "Just in, U.S. employers have reportedly been told to fire hundreds of thousands of immigrant workers as their temporary legal status and work permits expire." Why are they doing this? Nothing's happening. They're just randomly choosing this? Who's telling them? Who's telling them to fire hundreds of thousands of immigrant workers? What has changed that has caused Toyota to make this sort of declaration? Also, the fact that there's, what is this, three full lines dedicated to listing off all the different immigration-related employment sponsorship programs is an atrocity. They're doing this because the entire legal and cultural environment around immigration in the United States has comprehensively changed. That doesn't mean that suddenly the lobbies that advocated for this or want this have just vaporized. They haven't just disappeared. They're still there. They can still say things. They can still write headlines. They can still present legislation. That those things are happening is not evidence that these things are not happening. Trump's transportation secretary, Sean Duffy, is cleaning up America's roads with over 24,000 drivers removed for bad English, 28,000 illegal licenses revoked, and 9,500 training schools delisted so far. Now, the DHS and U.S. Department of Transportation are aligned to probe CDL fraud and pull more foreign truckers. U.S. DOT has spent the last year rooting out bad actors from our trucking industry, said U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean P. Duffy. We've knocked over 24,000 drivers off our road for failing to speak English. We've forced states to cancel over 28,000 licenses illegally issued to foreign drivers and purged over 9,500 unqualified training schools from our FMCSA registry. Besides the sweeping rule-changing effort and license restriction, local and state law enforcement are arresting hundreds of illegal alien commercial drivers and truckers every month using their 287G agreement with ICE. If you want to see more of this, go apply to work there. This is a Titanic cruise liner being turned. But the momentum has clearly swung. They need more resources. They need more personnel. And they need morale to be high enough that they can continue to press the pedal to the metal. If morale declines, they will lose the ability to press the pedal to the metal. If you are attacking morale, if you are attacking the administration on this front, you are actively working against mass deportations. You are an enemy. You are a subversive. You are an open borders communist. You're just pretending that you're not.
Well, great question. So, look, the good news for you and your listening audience is that the daily deportation rate right now is the highest it's been since we've been in office. And the men and women at ICE deserve enormous credit for continuing to get those numbers up. In addition, the administration is severely cracking down on the CDL, that's the commercial driver's license fraud. So I think it's probably a good estimate. About a third of the nation's CDLs, commercial driver's licenses, have been issued to illegal aliens. And so you have this massive public safety issue. We've begun the process. It's also a job theft issue, of course, too. But we've begun the process of identifying the firms, the contractors that are engaged in this criminal activity, and you're going to begin to see a very severe crackdown. The early reports I've gotten on that are very promising. And then we also have begun in earnest implementing our banking integrity measures. So you may...
Okay, so we get into the banking here in just a moment. Do you realize what a monumental bureaucratic feat this has been so far? As in your everyday life, you don't like have context for numbers of people, the types of magnitude that we're talking about when we're evaluating these sorts of things. And when you're just like, deport them, you're just like, oh yeah, just like go pick someone off the street and just take them to the airport or something. How hard could it be? Would that it was that easy? But you can't, on one hand, observe the absurdity that the United States has no idea exactly how many people are inside its borders, and then also be mad that they can't deport people faster. They have to go find the people. And they need to prioritize resources toward the most violent. This is like so. It boggles my mind that this would even have to be a conversation. Obviously, you're going to target the worst ones, the most violent ones first. And when you have limited resources, your resources are disproportionately going to go toward that. Once you've gotten the worst, it makes it even easier and easier and easier to work your way up the chain. Meanwhile, you shut everything else down. You prevent more entries to the greatest extent that you possibly can. But there's like, I don't know, maybe 24 different sophisticated, complex, bureaucratic domains that have to be managed all at the same time, and all turned and all aligned to make this dramatic of a switch from borders are effectively completely open to net negative migration and expanding the crackdown from domain to domain sequentially. That sort of momentum in an operation that necessarily covers like millions of personnel. If you think about the entire deportation operation and every single logistics person, every single officer and every single investigator, every single lawyer and every single judge and every single person that's involved in the deportation process, to have it go from directly this way to directly this way in 18 months is an astonishing accomplishment. And now that it's turned this way, now that we actually have net negative migration and it's picking up bureaucratic steam, it can expand out more and more. Of course, there's going to be obstacles. Of course, there's going to be roadblocks. Of course, there's going to be efforts to subvert it. One of the greatest efforts to subvert it is the effort to say it's not happening so that people get demoralized and check out and create future electoral hurdles that will slow it down. You know the best way of getting more people deported? Ensuring Republicans win in the midterms. It's that simple. You want more deportations? Vote for a Republican. You don't have to like the Republican Party. You don't have to trust them. You don't have to believe anything they say. But that is a political reality. You know what I can guarantee? I can guarantee that Democrats winning political office will result in fewer deportations. That I can 100% guarantee. Now he's talking about banking. Oop. Come back here. Don't you try to run away from me, Steven.
You may remember President Ernest implementing our banking integrity measures. So you may remember President Trump signed an executive order a few weeks ago saying that we are not going to allow illegal aliens to use banking services in this country. You know, contrary to popular perception, you know, the stupid phrase about illegal aliens living in the shadows. Illegal aliens don't live in the shadows. Illegal aliens have credit cards, they have bank accounts, and they're paid with direct deposit. So illegal aliens fully participate in the commercial systems, the financial systems of America. Shutting that down is a massive engine for deportation. And so the Treasury Department just issued new guidance to financial institutions, to banks. And so the next step in this process is us meeting individually with banks and financial institutions on cooperating with us to remove illegal aliens from the banking system. Once illegal aliens lose their access to capital, that is going to, again, be a major driver of self-deportation. So these are examples of a few of the things that we're doing to really get those numbers up dramatically and get people out of this country who don't belong here.
Do you know what will go a long ways toward ensuring that banking and financial institutions don't drag their feet and delay and obstruct and wait out the clock so that they don't actually have to do what the administration tells them? Do you know what would go a long way to preventing that? Republicans winning in the midterms. The more that Trump's inevitability becomes apparent, the greater the wins can become. Because it's a game of morale. And if those who are opposed to mass deportations are remoralized by, oh, it looks like Trump's coalition is fracturing. It looks like it's breaking apart. He's lost the public mandate. The more that becomes the case, the more emboldened they become to do exactly what they did in the first term. So the more that you participate in trying to sell that sort of a narrative, the more thoroughly incoherent and schizophrenic your entire persona becomes. Like, how can you say you want the things that the Trump administration can provide, but you don't want the Trump administration? I want something better. Yeah, so do I. Where is it? Show it to me. What's your proposal? Cry on the internet and don't vote? Oh, so you're just a libertarian. I've known you people for a couple of decades now. That is libertarian praxis. Cry on the internet, don't vote. That's what it boils down to. So why are we just like drifting right back around into this same cul-de-sac again? No, you win by winning. And sometimes you can declare a win where there isn't one. I was just listening to a thing on the War of 1812 this morning. In military terms, basically a loss. But old Ironsides delivered at the last minute, and they say, we won. Everything went back to the way it was before, except for our capital got burned down. We won. Deal with it. But actually, if you count up, shut the fuck up, faggot. We won. We're winning. If you don't believe me, I've got more for you. Immigration courts are more efficient than they've ever been. Cases that used to take years are now cleared in months, and removals which used to be rare are now ordered regularly. Court dockets are currently 3 to 4 times larger than before, pushing out more migrants per judge. Patriot Prowler. Follow the man, the mass deportations diplomat, at Durzum _ My man needs to get a more auditorily shareable handle, but at Durzum _ Mega Masters hearings, PAC immigration court. The Trump transformation of immigration courts is one of the most important mechanisms for mass deportations. By mass denying asylum and mass ordering removal, the inflow is cut back while the scope of deportable aliens grows. More. Since the introduction of mega hearings, immigration courts have begun issuing even more removal orders in absentia, and in total. Caradwin says, would you be okay if someone does a Clips channel of your stuff? I would be more than okay. I would love it if somebody did a Clips channel of my stuff. I would love to do a Clips channel of my stuff. I don't have the time. So anybody who wants to do a Clips channel, you are more than welcome to do it. And if you can manage to do it in such a way that you can actually get ad revenue, you can keep it. I don't care. Even in liberal California, the Concord Immigration Court has doubled its removal orders after 1 month. Let me say that again. Even in liberal California, the Concord Immigration Court has doubled its removal orders after 1 month. You know the straightest line to getting more deportations? More Trump administration. More Republicans. The Republican Party is just the Trump Party. It doesn't exist outside of Trump and his legacy. Even in liberal California, the Concord Immigration Court has doubled its removal orders after 1 month. Give me more. I want more. Keep doing this. Do this, do more. I'm getting everything I voted for. Washington Post, this beacon of basedness, says exclusive. The Department of Homeland Security under Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen is cultivating a relationship with business groups whose concerns about losing workers to aggressive immigration enforcement had been rebuffed by the former secretary. Why is the Washington Post publishing this article? Someone over at the Washington Post decided to run down this story and publish it exclusively on the Washington Post. Why? What are their political objectives? How are they motivated? You think that they're just objectively reporting something that's factual and truthful? Oh, hey guys, we got this big scoop. Just had to make sure the people knew it. Of course not. They're narrative crafting. They're applying political pressure on the Trump administration by trying to undercut and demoralize his base. So if you read something like this and you lose your mind and you get demoralized, you're just serving as the foot soldiers of the Washington Post. They know exactly what they're doing. They want you to chimp out about this and say, Trump will never be as based as I am. I'm staying home at the midterms. Because this is the only fucking hope they have. CNN reported an increase in worksite enforcement and probes related to employing illegals, implying the DHS is trying to temper industries ahead of the impact rather than tamper with its own removal priorities. Quoting, on Friday, as he met with reporters about Trump's campaign to force states to purge alleged non-citizens from their voting rolls before this fall's midterm elections, Mullen continued to walk a fine line between reassuring a skeptical public and satisfying the president's desire for maximum impact. A quote here from him, while, quote, I turned down the temperature with you guys, Mullen told the reporters, we're turning up the heat on the streets. Treasury and EEOC both released new guidance targeting illegal alien employment and visa schemes in June, and DHS has several rules pending to limit work authorization across the board. None of that signals letting business owners keep their labor stream. The one thing that the business owners might want is some really big public relations campaign where people are arguing that they're going to get to keep their cheap labor. The stream drop. It's been kind of glitchy on YouTube today, which is unusual. Often it'll get wonky on Kick, but it'll stay stable on YouTube. But crashed, turning up attention on the streets. Okay, thank you, Augustine. Homeless Nomad says, wait, people were chimping about this? That CNN read is exactly how I read it, i.e., that the enforcement's biting so hard that they're having to make sure it doesn't collapse the economy. Exactly. Exactly. And if your solution to the current problem is we must collapse the economy to get the people out of the country, you're retarded. You have no idea what collapse the economy looks like. This is a process that has to be handled with care. And right now, the Trump administration has the pedal to the metal. Treasury and the EEOC both released new guidance targeting illegal alien employment and visa schemes in June, and DHS has several rules pending to limit work authorization across the board. None of that signals letting business owners keep their labor stream. I read that again in case you guys, it dropped when I read it before. Yeah, the point of getting the people out of the country is so the economy doesn't collapse. Among other things, sure, but that's a big component of it. You think if the economy collapses that suddenly you're gonna improve your socioeconomic status? They're pushing about as hard as they could possibly push on this issue. And they've made it abundantly evident what their position is across the board. How many cabinet members need to say there will be no amnesty? What else could they do to make it clear? Beyond just saying, there will be no amnesty. Tipko's going to go nuts. Thank you, Jeff Accordion. And notice, this dooming out that mass deportations is never going to happen and that they're just lying to us and whatever, that's been happening all along. Meanwhile, they're expanding their mass deportations effort further and further to the point where the business leaders are like, holy shit, you're going to blow up our business model. Can you at least consult with us on this a little bit? And they're like, yeah, we're going to make sure that your business model doesn't blow up, but there's not going to be amnesty. Check it out. You get full expensing of all capital development that you do over the next 5 years. So how about you spin up some automation? That's how they're solving that problem for them. So the dooming out, it's not that like, you're saying if we doom out, then it could stop them from doing it. Is that fragile? Is that weak? No, you dooming out isn't stopping them. You dooming out is just poisoning your own spirit. You're just going out and drinking poison every day. Stop doing that. You're drinking poison and then you're vomiting it on everyone around you. Stop doing that. America is not near collapse. America is on the upswing. You're just inundated in propaganda trying to persuade you that it's collapsing. Because if they can persuade enough people that it's collapsing, it will collapse. That's how it works. Be the one in your social circle who chooses not to doom. And then flogs everyone around him to do the same. Any attempt at amnesty is dead. Neither Trump's White House nor the House Judiciary Committee will sign for it. This is another bipartisan pandering proposal for alien constituents and business interests. While that merits pushback in itself, amnesty is now on the losing side. Tweets from the House Judiciary account. No amnesty, no amnesty, no amnesty. The press secretary. The president has made it very clear he will not support amnesty for illegal aliens in any way. Amnesty is not happening. We're going the other direction. Denaturalization is historically rare. Between 1967 and 2017, fewer than, so 50 years. No, 50 years. So over those 50 years, fewer than 150 denaturalizations were successful. From 1990 to 2017, only 305 were filed. So 11 a year were filed between 1990 and 2017. Basically, close to my entire life up to that point, only 305 had even been filed. Trump just filed 10 this month alone. That small number is part of a big push, the largest denaturalization effort since World War II. Just so you know, denaturalization means stripping citizenship. The American system has been constructed very intentionally to make it very difficult to do this. But they're prioritizing it anyways. This is what prioritizing looks like. And if that doesn't register for you, you're just advertising your political illiteracy. Now, some of this seems pretty obviously paid for. Captive Dreamer said, the influencer knives are out. These people got a taste of money and now will post anything for it. Obviously, what he's saying is a total lie, but it's the motivation behind it. Where did this guy come from? Was he talking about immigration even 2 years ago? I'd never seen him on the timeline until a few months ago. This stuff is fake and totally astroturfed. Apparently, he was a liberal until last week. And now he's trying to say that nothing is being done on immigration, a topic he's never even broached before as a liberal. This stuff is so transparent. He's talking about Matt Van Swoel. And I've shared a lot of Matt Van Swoel tweets on the stream here. And he's had some very good stuff. I first came across him during the Hurricane Helene, I think, and the relief effort after that. Wit says, check Venmo. You guys can also tip via Venmo, or X Money too. If you know how to do it via X Money, I will happily take your money that way. You can also use Venmo at King Pilled, Cash App at King Pilled. Wit says 1488 says the white pills will continue. So true, sir.
Finally get to watch a live episode and I show up late.
Thank you, Dave. It's good to see you, Dave. On the voice chat on Friday night. The old boomer actually made it in. He's not actually a boomer, but he basically is. Made it in there. We got to chat with him for a little while. Good to see you, buddy. Say a prayer for Dave. He's got a bunch of health issues he's got to go through, and he needs all the Patriot energy he can get. Thank you for the $100, Dave. You're a patriot. Also, go to forum.kingpill.com. Make sure you sign up over there. If we hit the goal today, we're over halfway there now. If we hit the goal, then we will do a drawing. Anybody who signs up over there, you have a chance to win. I will send you 10% of the total tip goal, or the total tip amount, no matter how high it gets today, in the form of a digital gift card. You have to sign up. Okay, yeah. So, Matt Van Swoel. Now, he says, here, hold on a second. Let me make sure before I forget, I get Wit's money in there. Thank you, my friend. So, Van Swoel says, I don't think the GOP fully grasp how badly they're fucking up right now. I'm talking to people who normally have zero interest in politics who are legitimately pissed off. They're not seeing the major reform they thought would happen and are really mad about it. No true accountability, no true mass deportations, no meaningful decrease in the deficit, lots of very long vacations and no work, no bills being passed that reduce the government involvement in their lives. I'm very worried the GOP is sleepwalking toward a midterm reckoning they don't see coming. People are pissed off that they voted Trump into office, and then the GOP continues to slow walk every reform people want. Where are all the Doge cuts that were promised? Where is the SAVE Act? Why haven't we defunded the Taliban yet? Why are bills passing the House and then disappear in the Senate? Why are the GOP still funding left-wing NGOs that target and hate MAGA Republicans? Why are members of the GOP pushing for mass amnesty instead of mass deportations? People are waking up and they aren't happy about it. People believe they were voting for the Trump agenda, and instead, many feel like they're getting the same old Washington. If Republicans in Congress don't start producing tangible results, they're going to discover that frustration has consequences. And by the time they realize how deep-seated that frustration is, it may already be too late. Now, here's the thing. I read that whole thing because this is literally just LLM speak. This is copywriting. This guy knows how to copyright, how to write copy. And this is a copywritten edit of an LLM output that was trained on right-wing Twitter for the last year. So he doesn't need to be getting paid to post something like this. He just has to be someone who's paying attention to what people are saying in this little niche corner of the internet and writing something precisely tuned to generate engagement. 2,700 replies. It doesn't even have to be paid. I mean, he's doing it to get paid, but this doesn't even have to involve actual payments going out to people to do this. But notice, the dude just posting shameless engagement bait and the dude getting paid to demoralize potential Trump voters are doing the exact same thing. So the guy getting the engagement bait is just deriving it from the things everyone is saying. So if you're someone who feels this way, who actually is like, reads through this and is like, oh yeah, that's a really good point. Man, he really cooked him with that one. Do you realize the company that you keep? Do you realize that you have the exact same worldview as the influencer-paid propaganda post intended to demoralize people? And you think you arrived at that independently? Through your, like, superior logic and rationale and thing-knowing? Hold on. Yeah, okay, yeah, there was a reply to that I'm gonna come back to in just a minute. I just wanted to highlight a couple of really good tweets here. First of all, Bumbadum says, Zero is gemming out. I refuse to let this absolute banger truke of a post go unretweeted. So true, don't lose hope, stop blackpilling. Zero HP Lovecraft says, there is a type of guy who feels betrayed when you tell him his life is not hopeless. That's a truke. What is the psychology behind this? Like, what is it that motivates a guy to react this way? Why would someone feel personally attacked and betrayed when someone tells him his life isn't hopeless? How do you get to that point? Do you see why that is not a healthy place to be? And I'm not speaking from the perspective of you irritate the fuck out of me, even though you do irritate the fuck out of me. I'm saying, like, bro, what's going on with you? These are like red flags that you should be aware of. When someone tells you your life isn't hopeless, you think you were betrayed. You've got much deeper issues you need to sort out than worrying about whatever the political goings-on are of the day. You've got issues that mass deportations are never going to solve. You're using politics as your therapy. And therapy is gay. It makes you feel worse. That's why you feel worse and worse and worse. You see how this becomes a spiraling, compounding problem. You feel betrayed when someone tells you your life's not hopeless. And someone says, no, don't feel betrayed. Have some hope. You betrayed me too! This is why despair is a sin, as Jeff Accordion just said in the chat. This is why. Because it becomes a self-fulfilling downward spiral. And despair is not someone else's problem. Despair is not the product of somebody else did something bad. And until their bad thing is fixed, I'm going to despair. No, despair is a choice. It has nothing to do with the external world. You decide that you're going to despair. And only you can undecide. Because you have agency. At least hopefully. Cash Nicholson, another powerful Patriot poster. Follow the man. Cash_Nicholson. I mean, look at that. Look at that avatar. Or PFP or whatever we call it these days. You know the guy's a patriot. Talking about the generation warfare. Anti-boomer stuff and everything. He says, in quotes, everything sucks. You have no agency. You will die poor and alone. And also your parents, grandparents are selfish and evil and you should hate them. This does not seem like winning messaging to me. It's very easy to be sucked into this, especially when you're a young dude. This sort of sentiment is everywhere. And Zoomers, you're not like new to this party. I mean, you are new to this party. This party's been going way longer than you've been around. Every generation has had to overcome this sort of psychological conditioning. But anybody who's talking to you like this, or just in the vicinity, you walk by and you hear someone like this, you cannot expose yourself to that. People who spread this type of thinking, especially among an audience of young men, are committing a grievous sin. May God have mercy on their souls. You, as a young man, in your 20s and 30s, you are at one of the most transformative periods in your life where your agency can take you further than just about anywhere else. The gains that you can attain now will define the rest of your life. Yeah, lots of the traditional pathways have been blocked. That means there's extraordinary opportunity in virtually every other domain. And if you're a powerful, high agency white man, then you don't need someone to hold your hands through this. In fact, you will resent someone trying to hold your hand through it. You want to go figure it out on your own. You want to scrap and claw and dig your way out. You want to be proud of what you produce. I had an interesting conversation with Amy over the weekend. And I mentioned this. I think I mentioned this in the King Pilled in the Discord voice chat the other day, but I don't think I talked about it here on the show. If I did, forgive me for repeating myself. But we were talking about how with Gaga here visiting, she's been totally checked out of her normal routine of like following the news and keeping up to date with everything that's going on. She hasn't been able to listen to the shows nearly as much because she's with Amy and Eastwood. Thank you, Emperor Atreides. So she was like, yeah, I've been kind of out of the loop. I don't really know what's going on. And Amy just said, yeah, you don't have to worry about that stuff. Let the men take care of it. And first of all, based. And then it kicked off like, excuse me, just a sec. It kicked off a series of thoughts for me. Man, YouTube just went down again, I think. I don't know what's going on today. And the first thing I thought was, I was like, oh yeah, based. I married well. I gave her like the hard eyes. And then I kind of went into imagination land sort of, and I was thinking about before women's suffrage and in past times, there's the narrative that like women were just these oppressed slaves or whatever, and then guys will be like, oh yeah, they were, and it was based, when actually, you're just living in the same dialectic. No, women were very esteemed members of society. Women wielded a lot of political power. In fact, they've become almost politically disempowered through the recent events. And I was thinking of it from the frame of like that impulse. That's the natural feminine impulse. Let men take care of the political matters. But it's not like, oh, the political thing too big and tough for me. I don't understand the political thing. The men gotta do it. I too dumb. No, it's like, ew, gross. Like politics and all of that, boring, and like, like debating and talking about all that stuff. Like, ugh, gross. Keep that to the men. You take that outside. I'm here, like, doing all the stuff that matters, raising the kids, taking care of the home, collecting all of the local gossip, staying plugged into everything that's happening. This is the woman's domain. Remember, I said civilization is fundamentally gynocratic because civilization is the thing that men build around women so that the women can do their women's thing in peace and safety and security. And then it struck me that everyone's heard the thing, like I when I was growing up, you hear people say that you don't talk about politics and religion at the holiday dinner table or whatever, and there's this, like, politics and religion became like you don't talk about that in polite company. It's like embarrassing to be publicly political, and that's gross and yucky, and it's uncouth. Politics is like this yucky, dirty game, and it's like for scummy, yucky people. And I realized that whole mentality is the Longhouse. That's the Longhouse. No, don't be in politics. Everything's bad and gross and yucky and terrible over there. There's nothing to be gained in that. That's a waste of time. That's, it's just like a bunch of like corruption and arguing and violence and backstabbing and all that. That's not polite and distinguished and dignified. You shouldn't be don't get that stink on you. That's the Longhouse. The extent to which politics is that way is dictated by the extent to which men permit themselves to be imposed upon by that perspective. I mean, it's always the game of power is always going to have corruption and evil and compromise and milquetoast and water down and all of that stuff. Yes, that's always going to exist. That's not a feature of politics, that's a feature of humanity. Politics is not déclassé and gauche and like no, politics is the domain of men confidently working out power. And relating to politics in this crestfallen, resentful, demoralized way is troonery. You are literally trooning out. Shout out John Doyle. Never has there been a better analogy made. That is trooning out. Blackpilling is gay. There's F's in the chat happening again, so I'd imagine that, dropped frames. No idea what it is. No idea why it's happening. Whatever. It always comes back after a few minutes, so I'll just give it a sec and wait. Pretty soon, it'll reconnect, and we'll continue. And everyone later on will be listening to the recording, being like, oh, those silly live chat people. desperately posting, what happened? F. All right, looks like people are showing back up again. We're back. Yeah, this is not something unique to Kick. It's happening with YouTube, and it's showing on OBS. There's like I wonder if there's like a server issue or something, that some setting got changed. I need to think about that. Ticon says we must have deported the little Mexican that runs on the hamster wheel to keep the stream up. Bring back the Mexican. I think you guys are back now, so I'll keep going. I think it's fashionable to be like, to try to be above it all, to be like, oh, that stuff that happened, that's like not representative of me, and that's like those other people, that's all their fault, and I'm withdrawn, and I'm too cool for school, and I'm above it all. And this is just the same what I was talking about earlier, the like early mid 2000s libs who were like embarrassed about the U.S. government because George Bush was a retard, and it's just like a fashion statement. It's like maybe you care about like the brands that you wear, and like you have like your special your Louis Vuitton bag or whatever. Or another derivation of this is like the things about politics that you think are icky and that you don't want to be associated with, and I'm above it all. And it's just, you're just trafficking in women's fashion. No, you're weak and cowardly and low agency. Get off your ass. Go do something. Go build something. And if you're going to engage in the political arena and commentary and acting like your opinion is worth hearing, then do so like a man. Not a whiny, resentful, complaining, demoralized little boy. Doomers think it's cool to shit on everything and that doing stuff is cringe. Yeah, Ticon. Yeah, and this is like, this didn't start with edgy right-wingers online talking about politics on X. They just took on the persona of the mid-2000s lib, the mid-2000s Barack Obama voter, but said, but actually I'm racist. You're still just an insufferable cosmopolitan lib. You're a striver. You disgust me. My president is accomplishing so many things. Shout out to Jeff Childers, Coffee and COVID News. He replied to Matt Van Swole's message, and he said, fine, I made the list. It's still growing. Trump 2.0 accomplishments as of mid-July 2026. Buckle up, folks, because here we go. Negative net migration for the first time in 50 years. 2.6 million plus illegal aliens removed, including 650,000 arrests and 400,000 convicted criminals, plus 2 million self-deportations induced by ending incentives. These are conservative numbers. Fentanyl trafficking crushed 56% plus, overdose deaths down 21% monthly since inauguration. Laken Riley Act signed and aggressively enforced. Catch and release ended, a 99.9% drop. 0 releases into the U.S. for 8 straight months. Record low border encounters. Darien Gap migration cut 99%. Largest one-year homicide drop in U.S. history. Violent crime, including rapes, robberies, and assaults down significantly. Targeted crime operations in major blue cities delivering record low murders in several metros. Law enforcement officer deaths down 25%. Tren de Aragua, MS-13, and other cartels dismantled. International drug cartels designated as foreign terrorist organizations. Antifa designated a domestic terrorist organization. One thing I need to note here, I was thinking about this weekend. All the people who are like, we have all these domestic problems and they're just focused on foreign stuff. Where do you think those domestic problems are coming from? And furthermore, the United States Constitution is notoriously constructed to make it difficult to prosecute American citizens for things, particularly related to terrorism and treason and these sorts of things. Americans naturally have an extremely robust set of rights guaranteed to them by the federal government. You can scoff about it all you want. It's objectively true and unique in world history. So if you want to go after the domestic terror operations while navigating the fact that many of these people are going to be really difficult to prosecute precisely because of how they've conducted themselves, the best way to do it is to affiliate them with something foreign. Again, if you have like a remedial understanding of American politics, you would know this intuitively. Gas under $3 a gallon in 43 states, record U.S. energy production and exports at all-time highs. I don't know if this is exactly true at the moment, but it has been true for long stretches of the second term. And if you look at the gasoline futures, this is where we're headed by the fall. 654,000 plus new private sector jobs, all net gains to native-born Americans. Politically Catholic!
New Labian alert. My son Nicodemus, Nico, was born yesterday afternoon. Never doom. Making cute babies with our wives is how we crush the libs.
Teal Bucks alert! $200 announcing a new Labian taking us over the goal. Someone's making money tonight, or this afternoon, or this morning, whatever time it is. Forum.kingpole.com. Make sure you sign up there. We're giving away at least $50 today. Shout out to Politically Catholic and his wife for Nicodemus, Nico and Augie. Two powerful Christian patriot names. Congratulations, man. That's really good to hear. I was wondering, I saw you posted in the Discord yesterday. I was wondering, I don't remember, do you pronounce it Augustine or Augustine for his name? I couldn't remember. I think you do. You say Augustine, but I couldn't remember. But Augie and Nico, that's so good. Baby Bucks, yes. Shout out to a new Labian. So good. Go make a baby tonight, boys. In honor of Andrew and Tina and Nicodemus. So 654,000 plus new private sector jobs, all net gains to native-born Americans. 671,000 plus jobs added since January of 2025. 4.3% GDP growth in the third quarter of 2025. Largest blue-collar wage growth in 60 years. Already the largest blue-collar wage growth in 60 years. Could it be more? Yes. Will it be more? Yes. Can you benefit from that? Only if you quit doom posting and get to work. Real earnings up $1,100 annually. Inflation tamed to 2.4% core CPI, down about 70% from Biden's peak. One big beautiful bill passed July of 2025, making 2017 tax cuts permanent, no tax on tips, Trump accounts for newborns, and senior deductions. I've seen people shitting on the Trump accounts things, and I swear to God, you guys are going to get thrown out of a helicopter. You don't deserve the things my president is providing you. $5 trillion in deregulation savings plus, or $5 trillion plus in deregulation savings, plus $215 billion in government efficiency cuts, which nets out to $1,300 per taxpayer. So, real earnings up $1,100, and just in government efficiency cuts, down $1,335 per taxpayer. $10 trillion plus in reshored or domestic investments secured. Trade deficit at the lowest level since 2009. $300 billion plus in tariff revenues collected. Predatory global tariffs shifted in the U.S.'s favor for the first time in modern history. I'll have more on the tariffs thing tomorrow. I've got a good tariffs thread and some new tariffs news, but we'll have to get into that tomorrow. He says, no, it's the former pronunciation. Augustine, not Augustine. Okay, so it's Augustine. Augustine and Nicodemus. Oh, it's so good. Stock market, record highs. Gaza ceasefire plus hostage release secured. 12-day war, Israel-Iran, ended. Multiple additional peace deals and accords. Armenia and Azerbaijan, India, Pakistan, DRC and Rwanda, Cambodia and Thailand, Kosovo and Serbia, Egypt and Ethiopia. Iran's nuclear capability destroyed, plus maximum pressure campaign, 450 plus sanctions designations. We'll have more on Iran in the next few days as well. NATO allies leaping toward 5% GDP defense spending. 85 plus detained Americans released. Abraham Accords expanded. Strikes on Houthis and Iranian assets and narco-terrorist vessels. Nicolas Maduro captured. I think the technical term is yoinked. Record military recruitment goals met. Largest military investment in decades with AI integration. F-47 sixth generation fighter unveiled. VA backlog reduced 60%. 3 million disability claims processed. 51,936 homeless veterans housed. Benefits restored for vaccine mandate discharges. Transgender enlistment barred. DEI eliminated across military and federal agencies. Over 269 executive orders signed in the term. 230 in the first year alone, highest first year total since FDR. 81 memoranda plus 158 proclamations. Doge-driven bureaucracy cuts, IRS IT budget savings of $2 billion, wasteful contracts eliminated. DEI discrimination banned in federal contracting and agencies, race-based hiring ended. Gender ideology extremism curbed in schools, medicine, and government. Minors protected from chemical and surgical procedures. See, like, you might be able to, like, kind of be like, at one of these things, but look at the wall of text here. This is 18 months we're talking about. Against tremendous opposition. Particularly from faggots posting on the internet. Maha reforms launched. Presidential commission established. Most favored nation drug pricing with 16 plus major pharma companies. 8 artificial food dyes phased out. 40% plus industry compliance. Whole Milk for Healthy Kids Act. Marijuana reclassified to Schedule 3. Childhood vaccine schedule revised from 72 to 11 consensus shots. Expanded IVF access. $50 million autism initiative. New Whole Foods dietary guidelines. Withdrew from the WHO. Crypto regulatory framework via Genius Act. Strategic Bitcoin reserve created. Operation Choke Point 2.0 ended. Sanctuary city funding cuts implemented. Election integrity and citizenship verification measures expanded nationwide. USPS program pending. This is the one for the compliance for delivering ballots. And they're making federal dollars contingent on and USPS delivery of ballots contingent upon states complying with them. SAVE Act drafted and run at Congress several times now. Energy dominance unleashed. National energy emergency declared. 6,000 plus drilling permits approved. 55% increase. 13.1 million acres open for coal leasing. Record LNG exports greater than 100 million tons. Nuclear projects advancing toward online status. Major energy export deals. $100 billion for South Korea. $200 billion for Japan. Paris Agreement withdrawal. U.S. becomes net oil exporter for the first time in history. Trump accounts launched for newborns with federal seed funding, plus corporate matching. Farmer aid secured. Skilled trades and domestic manufacturing. Semiconductors, autos, and heavy equipment expanded. Over 100,000 fraudulent visas revoked. 275,000 illegal aliens removed from Social Security rolls. Benefits terminated for 1.4 million illegal aliens. H-1B crackdowns and $100,000 application fees. 62,000 plus missing migrant children rescued. Alien Enemies Act invoked against gangs. $2 billion sent to rebuild Western North Carolina. John Bolton arrested and pleaded. James Comey arrested. John Brennan under investigation, probably facing a grand jury. Russiagate grand jury set up and running in Florida. DOJ and ODNI seized Fulton County 2020 ballots. Trump is still working on plans B, C, D, etc., with a new integrity announcement scheduled as soon as tomorrow night. Now, we obviously saw that already, and hopefully I will have more on that soon. Then, so this is all the things he included. One other thing that he didn't mention, that I would mention, is the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission proactively soliciting reports of people discriminating against white people in the workplace. And then, I took this list. I threw it into Grok, and I said, list everything else that Trump 2.0 has accomplished that would be perceived as a win by someone who loves the list in this tweet and sees the things listed as important wins. Don't include anything that's already on the list. Immigration and sovereignty wins. Further interior enforcement surges. ICE street arrests, not just from jails, increased dramatically, over 10x in early periods, with policies reclassifying many as applicants for admission, leading to higher detention rates and reduced releases. De minimis exemption crackdowns and customs overhauls. Executive actions and related laws tightened low-value import rules, targeting China, Shane, Temu flows for drugs and tariffs evasion. Is that Shane, Shine, Sheen? Whatever. With enhanced importer vetting, penalties, audits, and bond requirements, public charge rule revival and benefit restrictions, expanded measures to penalize legal immigrants' use of safety net programs, and stripped certain Obamacare subsidies from low-income lawfully present immigrants. H-1B and visa, so even these ones for now are lawfully present, but they're losing Obamacare subsidies. H-1B and visa reforms, additional crackdowns beyond initial mentions, including higher fees and scrutiny, then law and order and accountability, high-profile arrests and investigations, expansions on figures like John Bolton, who was arrested and pleaded. James Comey is facing multiple indictments. John Brennan is under investigation in grand jury, plus broader Russiagate grand jury activity and seizures like Fulton County 2020 ballots. Gang and pedophile operations, additional major pedo stings, at least 6 reported in some periods, and thousands more gang member arrests. Says e.g. 7,000 plus in the first year per DHS. Broader cartel gang designations and Alien Enemies Act use, extended applications against specific threats. Economy deregulation and efficiency, sector-specific deregulatory EOs, actions advancing regenerative agriculture and farm resilience. Regenerative agriculture. Quantum innovation leadership, post-quantum cryptography security for infrastructure, and customs enforcement modernization. And like, these things are easy to just kind of gloss over, but this is really important infrastructure work from the administration. It's thankless, but it's important. Student loan and education reforms, implementation of changes for the One Big Beautiful Bill framework, including borrowing caps, repayment plan overhauls, and limits on certain plus loans. Rare earths and critical minerals deals, agreements, for example with Australia, to secure domestic supply chains and reduce China dependence for tech and military applications. And then housing and finance moves, efforts toward relisting Fannie and Freddie to improve affordability. This is a big one. If you don't understand why, just go binge some Tom Luongo for a little bit. Yeah, they flipped the food pyramid. That's right. That's right, T-Con. Energy and manufacturing, Western Hemisphere energy realignment, moves to develop dominance in oil and related sectors, plus specific export and investment deals. And then additional drilling, nuclear, and coal advancements, permits, leasing, and projects building on record production. For example, more acres opened, LNG and nuclear progress. One other thing to include here is Luongo and Dexter White were on Ben Kelleran's podcast earlier or into last week. Very, very good show. And one thing that that Tom was outlining was, you may have heard them talk about the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. And Trump is actually not depleting the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. What he's doing is he's essentially selling repo contracts on the oil. So they bought oil when it was cheap. They're essentially lending it to major oil companies with the agreement that they're going to be returning it back to them later, and the government keeps the difference between what they bought it for and what they're effectively lending it out for. So they're not just, it's not like there's this big supply of oil and they're just spending it down. They're ensuring that those companies are able to ride through this period of turmoil while they resolve the Iran thing, with the agreement that those companies are going to be returning that oil down the line. Foreign policy and national security, additional peace and ceasefire efforts. He mentioned that. The Board of Peace Charter ratification for Gaza and reconstruction oversight with international commitments, which, by the way, all the people who love talking about Israel have completely ignored the fact that Israel is fucking pissed about all the Board of Peace stuff and the Gaza reconstruction plan that's being forced on them. Iran and adversary pressure, maximum pressure continuation, nuclear capability action, sanctions, and later framework agreements and peace treaty elements. NATO and allied spending in military tech, further pushes toward higher GDP defense commitments and F-47 and AI integration. Yeah. So Living Dead got AI modded here, but let me see if I can read this. ICE funded, oil exported, Iran pressed, Maduro yoinked, Nons discombobulated, Pyramid flipped, dies ejected, Israel frustrated, Pajits yeeted, that's what got it taken out. Drug boats scattered, Obama gayed, Dems BTFO'd, Libs cringe, Panikins transed, morale elevated, Kino pristine, Trump trusted. A banger! So good, man. So good. Cuban Venezuela actions, indictments, e.g. Raul Castro, and influence-crushing efforts. Marco Rubio has been absolutely gemming out on the timeline about communism and Cuba. And the communist hold on our neighbors to the south is not long for this earth. Military culture and other VA and veteran expansions, beyond backlog reductions, additional housing and benefits restorations. DEI and woke rollbacks, further eliminations in contracting, agencies, education, and military. For example, transgender policy solidified. A lot of the corporate stuff here was downstream from the federal standards for contracting and agencies. Like, it just becomes easier to just kind of embrace it because the federal government is going to be breathing down your neck if you don't comply. So the majority of people were just acquiescing. Rich and powerful people just acquiesce all the time. They're not impressive, they're just rich and powerful. So removing it from federal standards has a downstream effect elsewhere. But that's not going to happen with the snap of a finger. It's going to take time and sustained pressure. Maha and health extensions, regenerative ag support, food dye and vaccine schedule and farmer pricing continuations and autism IVF initiatives, and then crypto and tech frameworks, Genius Act implementation, and strategic Bitcoin reserve operationalization. These build on the tweets of momentum and a promises kept America first direction, prioritizing citizens, reducing bureaucracy and influence of adversaries, and delivering tangible security and economic results. This isn't even everything. You could just do a 24-hour ASMR reading of all of the wins that the Trump administration has provided in just 18 months. All of those are real. They all matter. They all go together to form the full picture of what's happening. And you can choose to live in that world. You can also choose not to. I'm just going to tell you, living in that world is so much better than the alternative. You know how I can tell? Because all the people I know who are living in that world are having a grand old time. There's a whole group of us over in the King Pill Discord. We are having the time of our lives. And all the people who are not living in that world are a bunch of insufferable, whiny, depressing goobers. They're unhappy because they choose to be. They're not unhappy because of anything that is or isn't happening external to them. Because every time a good thing happens, they look for the bad thing in it. I'm not reading this list. I'm not going through all of this because I think someone who is demoralized is going to see all of this and go, oh, now I feel better. No, they're not capable of it. They're just sitting here trying to fact check everything. And they're choosing to be that way. They want to have low morale. They want to be sad. They want to be discouraged. They want to lose. It's baked into their temperament. Yeah, Living Dead. You could just have high morale. You could just choose it. It's that simple. You're not going to get argued into high morale. So if you're trying to argue, you're just saying, no, I don't want to have high morale. No, I want to be sad. No, I want to be fearful. I want to have something to be resentful about. Because that accomplishes my goal of offloading all responsibility for my own life. It's gratifying for a while. But there's a bigger part of this too. A legendary thing from the Chans. I remember seeing this years ago. And shout out to Mellon for reviving this. Get in, boys. We're going to make America pray again. Check this out. From November 5, 2017. They make sense to me. One thing we must understand and take out of religious context is how Q keeps telling us to pray. In other words, we must understand, in other words, praying is a way of using intention to affect the future probability. Woo alert. Not to go way off topic, but Pear Labs showed you can have an effect that is statistically significant by using your intent to affect things that are uncertain in nature. In this case, it was random number generators. Have you heard about this? Did you know that after 9/11, after Princess Diana, after there was the major floods in was it Indonesia? Some of these big, major, era-defining mass consciousness moments where everybody was all locked in on the same traumatic event at the same time. Random number generators all around the world started malfunctioning and losing their randomness. We haven't even begun to grapple with what it means that the logos of the universe is human. The ordering principle of the universe is human. The universe is human in its construction. Please pray, or in other words, take your being level intents. So this is like there's like it's kind of weird and gay to be like Christian or whatever. We're gonna like new atheist turn this into science speak. Well, here's the thing. You can do that. You can turn this into science speak and you're gonna get to the same place. Take your being level intents to affect a parsimonious result and the end of bad actors and corruption in government. Again, date, November 2017. Your prayers could make a bullet miss someone by an inch. What did they mean by this?
What is that?
You want to know how the bullet missed? That's why. It all helps. It all matters. This is what wizards and warlocks do. Call it prayer, call it meme magic, call it keck. Collective thought can and does have an impact on reality for reasons unknown. I would say the reasons aren't unknown. This is the welcome to the tradition of Christianity. The most important element is belief. Its intention, Anon, always has been and always will be. All hail the chance. This is why it matters. This is why morale is not just some like woo-woo thing or something. It's not just like an attitude or some sort of accessory. It's fundamental. We are co-creators with God. We are in the process of creating reality around us. You have no idea just how powerful your belief is. And the libs of the crystal chicks have like come up with their things like, like sending energy. And we make memes with it because it's real. When human beings collectively direct their attention at something and will it to exist, it will exist. Think about what invention is. Like, what do I have here? This. I've got a beard comb here. Once upon a time, someone invented a beard comb. Someone invented a comb. They were sitting here with their fingers empty. And they thought, it'd be really cool if instead of my fingers being empty, my fingers were holding a beard comb. Something entered their head. They paid attention to it. They latched onto it. A little bit of time passed, and suddenly, where previously there was nothing in their hand, there was a beard comb in their hand. They manifested a beard comb out of their brain. Yes, their hands helped. But if you zoomed out far enough, you would just be like, 1 second there was no comb there, the next second there was a comb there. Boop! It just appeared. This is a sort of a silly, dumbed-down analogy. But it illustrates the point. When human beings create things, this is how we do it. It starts with your directed intention. And it's kind of funny that, like, advanced physics is arriving at all the same conclusions. They just took the long way there. When you look at something, it changes it. Weird. How does that happen? I don't know. Maybe because we're created in the image of God. And we can make things exist by thinking about them. So the things you choose to think about are the things that you are willing to exist. You are manifesting the things that you think about. This is why it's so important to protect and guard the things that you think about. You have power levels you don't even understand. Anyone trying to demoralize the chuds is an enemy. A communist, a dirty, filthy, stinky pinko. Guard your mentals. Protect yourself from the intrusions of the communists. You want to know a really good way to do that? Go to chudconevent.com. Get your ticket. Early bird pricing through the end of July. Only $150 to come spend a weekend protecting your mentals with the boys. Getting down and dirty in the woods with a bunch of powerful alpha males. This is what it'll look like. There's a real picture from ChudCon. Don't ask us how we got it. We have our ways. Labor Day weekend, chudconevent.com. And if you can't make it, then consider donating to the cause. Sponsor some poor chud who wants to go. Someone who went and applied for a sponsored ticket. They couldn't afford it, but they needed the morale boost. They needed the time with the boys. You want to meet some local men? You want to sponsor some poor chud to meet some local men? Go sponsor a ticket. Support the cause. We're morale building, boys. This is White Boy Summer. Roll around with some sweaty boys. chudconevent.com. Special guests. The ones confirmed so far. Yours truly, Mr. Westford, the White Hodge twins, and Abba Alabanza. Get a little bit of anti-gay reggae music. How about that? Labor Day weekend. Make sure you guys get your tickets now. Last thing, very last thing before I leave you guys and go get some sleep. Get your eye wipers ready. Hold on.
It's a beautiful day. Got my Bible. I'm ready to go.
That not want to hear no.
Come on.
Yet he will hear me when the time is right. And I believe that when I go up to heaven, the first time that I will hear will be that he will call me Mr. That will be the only time. But how hard is that? You hear his voice speaking to me. I don't want to hear the while I'm on this earth. I want to hear in heaven when he is ready, when the time is right. When people tell me I don't really know that, I don't know. I try to do that because God man did that.
It's a beautiful.
What's your excuse, Anon? What is your excuse? You don't have one. If you couldn't understand what he was saying, go back and listen. Read the captions on it. And now, a drawing. Internet is really, really struggling today. I'm going to have to, I think I'm going to have to go reset everything tonight before I stream again, but oops, I almost just doxed everyone. All right, a drawing. Where are we at? We are at. Okay, so we're at 521 right now. So I have a dilemma here. For the most part, I can only do, well, it depends on what the winner wants. But for the most part, I can only do round numbers. I'm at 521. So do I round up to 55 and just take a little hit myself? Do I round down to 50? Keep a little bit myself? Or does someone want to throw something in here at the end to round it up. Jeff Accordion says, if I win, round up. Yeah, you are signed up, Bobby Ballbags. I just saw your name on it. Internet is just struggling hard right now. I wonder why. It was fine earlier today. But it's, come on. I can't even see the names right now. The frickin' Google Sheets won't load. If Ben Shapiro 2x wins, I'm going to chimp. See you later, well below average. Sorry, guys. We gotta wait until it reloads so I can do the drawing. Waiting. Am I still live? You can look at my president. I've just got a black screen. I don't want
Welcome to the suck, homos.
Thank you, Emperor Atreides. Enchanted Hero with the gifted sub. So that's still working. That's still coming through. This is so weird to me. I don't have any idea how it's possible that I can have the stream up and working, but a frickin' webpage can't load. How is this possible? All right, we're going to try it again. Do-de-do-de-do-de-do-de-do. All right, so this isn't super interesting. Let me give you a little leftist ass for a minute.
Your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. Your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. My children aren't going hungry. I'll do it. I'll drink your blood. And I'm starting to think about having to eat my neighbors. You think I like sizing up? I'm gonna haul him up back chain. Chop his ass up, size it up. I'm gonna haul him up back chain. Chop, 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 chop. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. I'll barbecue your ass flat. I will cook your ass up so fast, and I'll tell them, well, I killed a cow out back, baby. You think Christ would eat somebody? He would never do that. I will. I'm ready to hang them up, gut them and skin them and chop them up. You know what? I'm ready. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. That's why I want the globalists to know. I will eat your ass first. I swear to God, if it's the last thing I do, I'm gonna get my hands around your throat.
Well, nothing has changed. Agibot Master is saying Elsa wave. I take it he sent me a wave, but it is not loading. T-Con says we got to get a redemption arc for Alex Jones. I can't give up on him. Yeah. Yes. I need Alex to get his shit together. I need him to get back on side. This is not It's not a good look, man. We need you. We need your energy. $2 super chat from PC Lathrop says, for Gen X YouTube, break up these streams into highlights. Thank you for the super chat. Yes, I would love to be able to break them up into highlights. Someone asked earlier in the show, I think it was Caradwin, asked if you could start a clips channel for me. Yes, you are more than welcome to start a clips channel. If you want me to like send you the raw file, figure out a way to do that, hit me up, let me know. I can do that for you. I don't have time right now. I'm actually trying to get this interview show up and going, and I got some work done on that this last night. So I don't have time at the moment between EWBSX and ChudCon and keeping up with the lab and getting the interview show off the ground. I don't have time to do a clips channel. But if one of you guys, any of you guys, want to do a clips channel, chop it up into highlights, then you are more than welcome to do that. It's just a benefit for me. It's more palatable for shorter consuming, shorter attention spans or what have you. So if you can make any money off of it, you are more than welcome to keep it. You're doing me a great service by doing that. So the people are demanding a highlights channel, a clips channel, and so here's an opportunity for someone who wants to do that. You are more than welcome. Now I'm getting this site can't be reached. So unfortunately, I guess we're going to have to do. I'm just gonna load over here. Nope, nothing's loading. And now it says it's dropping frames again. So, apologies, folks. I guess I'm just going to have to do the drawing tomorrow's show. Yes, there will be a show tomorrow because it's Wednesday. And you guys know the rule about labs on Wednesday. They don't happen except for when they do. So, tomorrow is a time when they do. Because I took yesterday off. So, be on the lookout for another lab tomorrow morning, and give this one last shot to see if it'll load, and we will do a drawing then when presumably the internet is working. Oh, we got it. Hold on. Hold the fort. We did it. Patience. See? We just needed a little bit of patience. Rand between. We got 29 names. 1 in 29. For $55. The answer is... what the hell? 2. Kingless Kingdom. $55 for Kingless Kingdom. I don't know if I've seen him in the chat today. Is he here? Are you here? Let's see. Nope, doesn't look like it. Well, someone tag him. Let him know. The Kingless Kingdom has won the drawing for today. $55 for one of our great Zoomer Patriots. Congratulations, sir. I will find out if you want the usual. And to the rest of you, thank you for your contributions today in the chat, in the support bucket that I put out in front of myself. I'm a what do you call it? A busker. I'm like an internet busker. I just put my hat out on the sidewalk in front of me and I yell, wave, and screech, and just hope that people will come by and have pity on me and toss a few coins into my fedora or something. Anyways, thank you guys. I love every one of you. Appreciate you. My wife loves you and appreciates you, particularly those who got added to the nice list today. Have yourselves a great day. Go raise, do a morale raising activity for yourself and for someone else. And I will be back tomorrow with another episode of the Astrolabe. Until then, I leave you with Hulk.
When they took a shot at my hero, and they tried to kill the next president of the United States, enough